Hello again. We're back with more poems by Shel Silverstein from the book Where the Sidewalk Ends. Captain Hook. Captain Hook must remember not to scratch his toes. Captain Hook must watch out and never pick his nose. Captain Hook must be gentle when he shakes your hand. Captain Hook must be careful opening sardine cans and playing tag and pouring tea and turning pages of his book. Lots of folks I'm glad I ain't, but mostly Captain Hook. Hug of War. I will not play a tug of war. I'd rather play at hug of war, where everyone hugs instead of tugs, where everyone giggles and rolls on the rug, where everyone kisses and everyone grins and everyone cuddles and everyone wins. It's dark in here. I am writing these poems from inside a lion, and it's rather dark in here. So please excuse the handwriting, which may not be too clear. But this afternoon by the lion's cage, I'm afraid I got too near, and I'm writing these lines from inside a lion, and it's rather dark in here. Joey. Joey took a stone and knocked down the sun, and whoosh it sizzled down so hard, and bloop it bounced in his backyard, and glunk it landed on his toes, and the world was dark, and the corn wouldn't grow, and the wind wouldn't blow, and the cock wouldn't crow, and it always was night, 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 all because of a stone and Joe. Listen to the mustn'ts. Listen to the mustn'ts, child, listen to the don'ts. Listen to the shouldn'ts, the impossible, the won'ts. Listen to the never haves, then listen close to me. Anything can happen, child, anything can be. Jimmy Jet and his TV set. I'll tell you the story of Jimmy Jet, and you know what I'll tell you is true. He loved to watch his TV set almost as much as you. He watched all day, he watched all night, till he grew pale and lean, from the early show to the late show and all the shows in between. He watched till his eyes were frozen wide and his bottom grew into his chair, and his chin turned into a tuning dial, his antenna grew out of his hair, and his brains turned into TV tubes, and his face to a TV screen, and two knobs saying vert and horizontal grew where his ears had been. And he grew a plug that looked like a tail, so we plugged in little Jim, and now instead of him watching TV, we all sit around and watch him. He turned into a TV. The Farmer and the Queen. She's coming, the farmer said to the owl. Oh, what shall I do? Shall I bow when she comes? Shall I twiddle my thumbs? The owl said, who? The queen, the royal queen, shall pass the farm today. Shall I salute? He asked the horse, and the horse said, nay. Shall I give her a gift? He asked the wren, a lovely memento for her to keep. An egg or a peach or an ear of corn, the wren said, cheap. But should I curtsy or should I cheer? And here's her carriage now. What should I do? He asked the dog, and the dog said, bow. And so he did, and so she passed. Oh, tra la 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 la. She smiled, she did, he told the sheep, and the sheep said, bah. Pancake. Who wants a pancake, sweet and piping hot? Good little Grace looks up and says, I'll take the one on the top. Who else wants a pancake fresh off the griddle? Terrible Teresa smiles and says, I'll take the one in the middle. Uh-oh. Invention. I've done it, I've done it. Guess what I've done? Invented a light that plugs into the sun. The sun is bright enough, the bulb is strong enough, but oh, there's one thing wrong. The cord isn't long enough. Uh-oh. That's funny. Sick. I cannot go to school today, said Peggy Ann McKay. I have the measles and the mumps, a gash, a rash, and purple bumps. My mouth is wet, my throat is dry, I'm going blind in my right eye. My tonsils are as big as rocks. I've counted 16 chicken pox. And there's one more that's 17, and don't you think my face looks green? My leg is cut, my eyes are blue. It might be instamatic flu. I cough and sneeze and gasp and choke. I'm sure that my left leg is broke. My hip hurts when I move my chin. My belly button is crawling in. Is caving in. My back is wrenched. My ankles sprained. My appendix pants each time it rains. My nose is cold. My toes are numb. I have a sliver in my thumb. My neck is stiff. My voice is weak. I hardly whisper when I speak. My tongue is filling up my mouth. I think my hair is falling out. My elbow is bent. My spine is straight. My temperature is 108. My brain is shrunk. I cannot hear. There is a hole inside my ear. I have a hangnail and my heart is, what? What's that? What's that you say? You say today is Saturday? Goodbye. I'm going out to play. Oh, she feels better now. This one's entitled, Where the Sidewalk Ends. There's a place where the sidewalk ends, and before the street begins, and there the grass grows soft and white, and there the sun burns crimson bright, and there the moonbird rests from his flight, to cool in the peppermint wind. Let us leave this place where the smoke blows black, and the dark street winds and bends. Past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow, we shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk white arrows go to the place where the sidewalk ends. Yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and we'll go where the chalk white arrows go. For the children they mark and the children they know the place where the sidewalk ends. And this one is called Snowman. It was the first day of the springtime, and the snowman stood alone, and the winter snows were melting, and the pine trees seemed to groan. Ah, the poor sad smiling snowman, you'll be melting by and by. Said the snowman, what a pity, for I'd like to see July. Yes, like to see July, and please don't ask me why, but I'd like to, yes, I'd like to, oh, I'd like to see July. Chirped a robin just arriving, seasons come and seasons go, and the greatest ice must crumble when its flowers time to grow. And as one thing is beginning, so another thing must die. And there's never been a snowman who has ever seen July. No, they never see July, no matter how hard they try. No, they never, ever, 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 ever see July. But the snowman sniffled his carrot nose and said, at least I'll try. And he bravely smiled his frosty smile, and blinked his coal black eye. And there he stood and faced the sun a-blazing from the sky, and I really cannot tell you that he ever saw July. Did he ever see July? You can guess as well as I, if he ever, never, if he ever saw July. And our last one for today, I want you to see the picture clearly. The crocodile's toothache. The crocodile went to the dentist and sat down in the chair, and the dentist said, now tell me, sir, why does it hurt and where? And the crocodile said, I'll tell you the truth, I have a terrible ache in my tooth. And he opened his jaws so wide, and his dentist, he climbed right inside, and the dentist laughed, oh, isn't this fun? And he pulled the teeth out, one by one. And the crocodile cried, you're hurting me, and please put down your pliers and let me go. But the dentist just laughed with a ho, 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 and he said, I still have 12 to go. Oops, that's the wrong one, I confess. But what's one crocodile tooth more or less? Then suddenly the jaws went snap, and the dentist was gone right off the map. And where he went, one could only guess, to north or south or east or west. He left no forwarding address. But what's one dentist more or less? That's a good one. All right, stay tuned next time for some more poems from Where the Sidewalk Ends.